it's your friend Mike O'Neill, the new Mind 97.5, ready right here, and
I'm ready as well. I'm getting in the mood for what we're getting into today. So last week, if you recall, we had the conversation of topics that you would die on a hill for.
Or at least you're certain that's the way it should be done.
Yeah, your opinion is gospel on those. So I have my list here as well. By the way, before I forget, thank you for watching on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're going to do a lot more with our YouTube, especially with the toy drive coming up very soon. We got to thank Ed Dina's Auto Center. We have never had a sponsor for our toy drive. This toy drive goes back to when I was still on K-Jug years ago, and originally it helped benefit Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central California. A few years ago, we switched it to help out Ann's kids for Christmas, specifically kids in Visalia and Tulare. We've never had a sponsor for it until Ed stepped up and said, you know what, I'm going to put my name on that.
So, Ed, thank you so much for stepping up and sponsoring 3 days of Mike freezing his butt off at Adventist Amphitheater. That'll be great.
I've never been that cold. I mean, having been out there, that the sleeping bag I sleep in, it's rated for the top of Mount Crumpet.
Yeah, totally.
So I never get cold. When it rains, that's a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah, it was. And one year, we were at a different location where they didn't turn the sprinklers off.
It was worse. It was raining from above.
It's raining
and
up.
Sprinkling from below.
It's raining up. When does it rain up? Anyway.
All right, so I have my list of hills I will die on. I'm going to save the best two for last because I know one you and I disagree on wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. But most of these I think you and I agree on. Artichokes.
What about artichokes?
Have you ever driven past an artichoke field?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, if you ever get to Castroville, it's near the coast, near Monterey. I think it's in Monterey County. It's basically between Monterey and Santa Cruz, right there at the coast. They do well in the fog. They would do great here with the weather we've had so far this season. But if you ever drive past an artichoke field, you will swear that's a field that they've just left grow over with weeds because they're about 5 feet tall or so, and I don't get the waste of everything that goes into what is there, considering when you actually get the fruit, because I guess it technically is a fruit, even with that, you eat, a tenth of it, and you throw the rest of that away. I don't understand.
Well, people like them. I'm not one of them. My wife we buy them every week. Her cucumbers, and she eats things I don't, and vice versa, but God bless her. And, yeah, that's a weird one.
And the other one thing with it is, even if you get down to the heart of the artichoke, the best part, you've got to add this to it and that. Oh, put mayonnaise on it. I look at it like a steak. If you got to add all that extra stuff to it, it's not worth eating.
Yeah, if you start adding stuff to the steak at my house that I've been making, I'm going to walk you right out the door. And if you come in with a bottle of A1, you're going out with it.
Do not leave that there. So don't get artichokes. Never have, never will. Opening presents. My wife reminded me of this one. This is just something that I do because I subscribe to the theory that every present you get is the best Christmas present you've ever gotten. It's not until you actually open it that you get to see, and I think we touched on this last week, it's an ugly Christmas sweater, which I can't stand those. So when I open Christmas presents, first of all, don't give it to me in a bag with the tissue paper, and you take out one tissue paper and you can see exactly what it is. I want it in a box wrapped. But don't get PO'd at me when I take my sweet time with my fingernail, dragging it through the tape, because it's my job, my goal is to unwrap that Christmas present and not rip the paper at all.
Good luck.
And I was always that way growing up as well, because my sister would be the one that she would have all open, every single one of her presents, and I haven't finished my first one yet. So I get to take my time while everyone else is still filming everything, because my parents filmed every single one of our Christmases, and now the camera's on me exclusively because she's all done.
And 20 minutes later, Mike is still opening the present.
The first one.
We have a different tradition at our house. Everything's in piles. You're sitting in front of your pile all around the room. You open one, she opens one, all the way around till they're done. Christmas is over once that's done.
We adopted that after a couple years of the
shredded thrash.
The shredder, yeah. So that's another one of mine. Here's one I almost guarantee you and I will agree on this one. If you can't change a tire, a flat, you shouldn't have a driver's license.
Or at least you shouldn't be driving a car, because I'm not coming to save you. And that goes double. I'm not going to say the name of the person that did it 15 times since I've known them. If you run out of gas, walk your butt to the gas station. Quit playing that. That's gasoline roulette. If you play that game and you shoot yourself in the head, boo-hoo.
Yeah, there's AAA out there. I mean, most insurance companies do offer that roadside assistance. We have USAA because my dad served, so that's the insurance that we have, and I had to use it, again, recently for a battery issue. But for a flat tire, as long as you can safely get to the side of the road, if you're on 198 or even 99 or major highway, then yeah, I would say definitely do that. Or if it's a dangerous situation, but you should on gravel road somewhere between Porterville and
Terabella. Oh man,
yeah.
No cell service.
You get a flat there. You should be able to pull over safely and change that yourself.
However, the only caveat I will toss in on that is, in the case of my wife, we have the tow truck part of our insurance. If that happens to her, I have asked her to either call me or have them come and help her, because I don't want her to do it. The side of the road on the freeway is a scary place.
This is a great topic I think we need to get in with another podcast at some point. Gender roles. Because I mean, nothing wrong with having them, I don't think, but I think over time they've changed quite a bit. We have certain things in our house that my wife will never do. It is just on me to do. And I think some of it is I have lived by myself, so I've done everything there is to do. She never has. So in her mind, it's still, no, that's a guy's thing to do. So
let's save it, because I'll get started on that.
Make sure you remember that one.
We'll never get out.
Here's a couple quick ones, and we've touched on one of these. Actually, I think both of these the past few months or so. The myth of multitasking.
Right. I happen to agree on that.
You can only do one thing at a time. You have two hands. Whatever you can do with your hands, you can only engage in one thing. You can be thinking about something else, problem-solving something else, but you are actively working on one thing. I can't wash the dishes and mow the lawn.
I will say it specifically. You can only, if the qualifier is you can only do one thing well, then I would agree that multitasking is a myth. Because otherwise you're doing two things not nearly as well, or four things badly.
Here's the other one, and you hear this in sports quite a bit. The most anyone can ever give, mathematically speaking, is 100%. You can't give 110%. You can't give 150%. I can't tell you how many times. You know I follow sports quite a bit. We need to get out there and give 110% today. You can't do that, coach. The most I can give is 100. I promise you, I will give you 100% of what I have on the field. I ain't got that extra 10. Nobody does.
However, have we not seen instances of when adrenaline kicks in absolutely off the chain, and all of a sudden a 5'2" lady is picking up the back left side of her car off of somebody, and there's just no explanation.
That has become then.
That's over 100.
No, here we go. I love the arguments
because 100% in my understanding of that is everything that you can, the most you can possibly do under normal circumstances.
No, you're added something that doesn't need to be there, though. It's the most you can do in any given moment. All I can ever give is 100%, because 100% of what I have is 100%. You can't give more than what you have. If I give you 100% of all the money I have, I can't suddenly say, well, I've got $10 more. It's 100%.
It's a semantics
But that's what I mean, though. It is a
fair enough.
Like, there's a friend of mine that I worked with in Las Vegas, and not forget what his pet peeve was. Oh, literally. If you say, I'm literally dying of thirst. No, you're not.
No, because you're dead now.
You're going out of your way to say literally. If you say, I should have added this to the list because that's a good one.
That is.
If you say literally for anything, you better mean literally. I get that you're trying to quote unquote make a point, but that's the same thing with giving 110%. You can't do it. I get you're trying to make a point to say that you're superhuman today.
Yeah,
but you're not.
If you're literally dying of thirst, you better be in the waiting room at Korea Delta in the ED.
All right, so the two I'm saving for last. PASO, space. ROBLES is pronounced.
By most people that live on the coast around that area in AG, in San Luis, and all around there, most people, they do say Paso Robles. But...
And I wonder, is that most white people, or is it most people? I would venture to guess anyone who works in the fields there. And granted, Paso Robles. Okay, here we go. Paso Robles. It's a much more affluent area. My mom lives there. I know how much the cost of living is there. People forget with Paso Robles, it's a smaller town. It's less than the size of Tulare. It's like 35,000 people or so, but there's a lot of money there.
It's the most common non-Hispanic pronunciation. It would
Correct.
be the best way I would say it.
Now, and this goes back to when I was on K-Jug years ago, and my morning show partner, Lisa Hamilton, we got into a spirited debate on the air one day about how to pronounce it. Because I even said, my parents live there. My concession is when I'm talking on the air, I will sometimes just say Paso.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows what you're talking about. That way you're not offending anybody. But she was adamant it's Paso Robles. I was adamant it was Paso Robles. So the very next day we called the mayor then of Paso Robles. And I didn't realize this at the time, even though my folks lived there, that technically the name of the town is El Paso de Robles, the Pass of the Oaks. That even makes it more obvious it should be Paso Robles because Paso Robles means nothing at all.
But it's what the people that live there say. I mean, it's like when when I lived over there, I knew, and it may not be that way anymore, but I lived there in the 90s, and if you are from Cambria, that's what you say. But most people say Cambria. If you are, even around here, who's going to Mooney's Grove Park? The answer is nobody because it's Mooney Grove Park, but 8 out of 10 people do say Mooney's Grove Park. It's the vernacular. It's what is most commonly said. And the old classic Whitendale. It's spelled Whitendale, but everybody says Whitendale.
And this goes to something else maybe we'll get into at some point where I'm a big stickler on. I've been called to task on this, that I always have to be right. I disagree with the intention of that statement. I always want to get it right. If it's actually pronounced Whitendale, granted, since I moved here in 2011, up until just within a year or so ago, I'd almost always heard Whitendale. But if you look at the spelling, it's Whitendale. And that's how it should be pronounced. So I am trying to break myself of the habit to make sure I get it right. And I would argue with the whole Paso Robles thing is, because your argument is, well, that's how everyone pronounced it. As a dad, if your son, your daughter came to you and said, well, Dad, everybody else at school smokes, so why can't I smoke? Because everybody's doing it that way.
Because saying Paso Robles won't give you cancer.
I can't argue with that. All right, last one, the time we've got left. And I think you and I agree on this one as well, but 'tis the season for Christmas movies. And it's a debate that rages on and on.
Oh, I know where you're going with this one.
I'm not sure what flag I want to plant on the hill with this one because, honestly, I don't think of Die Hard as a Christmas movie. But I don't debate anyone who does because of the It's a Wonderful Life argument. If you look at just the plot line of It's a Wonderful Life, it has nothing to do with Christmas. It's a story that just so happens to take place during that time of year.
Well, the most classic line in the movie is "Merry Christmas" right at the end when George Bailey is hollering that upon discovery that of how good he does have it.
Correct.
And it's happening right then at Christmas.
But that's what I mean, though. It just so happens to take place that time of year. If that story took place around the 4th of July, happy 4th of July, Bailey Falls!
But then it'd be a 4th of July movie.
But it's a Christmas movie because of when it takes place. Die Hard is the same thing. It has nothing to do with Christmas, the plot line, the story, anything else, but it takes place during that time of year, so the argument can very easily be, yes, it's a Christmas movie.
And it's just most guys being facetiously snarky and sneaking in a not necessarily Christmas movie in for a watch because I love the movie. And my daughter actually is the one who Facebook posted this year, "My father started this tradition years ago, and we still maintain it today." And she's got this a still from the movie. Yes, it is a Christmas movie. I was like, "You are my daughter, and I do love you."
If I ever find it, maybe on eBay or something, I got to get it for you. I've seen several. The Nakatomi Tower ugly Christmas sweater.
Oh, God.
I've seen them. If I ever find one, Merry Christmas. That will be my Secret Santa gift to you.
I'd wear it. I've got a Stranger Things.
I know you
crazy Christmas sweater. Yeah.
So, that's in a nutshell. That's kind of the hills I'm willing to die on. Some not as much as the other, but I guess the big one, which you and I will, and again, I hate this expression, agree to disagree. Paso Robles.
Paso.
Fair enough.